Fight number 9, the first fight, the pro card, features Browder from Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Shank from Charleston, West Virginia, but training in Bettendorf, Iowa with UFC legend Spencer Fisher. Don't know a lot about Browder. He trains with Ben Rothwell, who, if you're sitting at home and you watch the UFC or you watch the IFL, you all know who Ben Rothwell is. He's a pretty phenomenal heavyweight himself.
We have Ryan Shank in the white shorts, and his opponent is in the black shorts. That's Zachary Browder.
Shank is a solid wrestler, and obviously training with Spencer Fisher, he's going to have good stand-up. Like I said, I really don't know a lot about what Browder's base is. Comes in wearing, Fairtex Thai boxing shorts, would lead you to believe he's a Thai boxer, but I'm pretty sure he probably has a wrestling background as well. Shank working hard for that single leg and switches legs. But yeah, Browder is defending well, so he obviously has some pretty solid wrestling background. But
it appears as though they both have a lot of experience on the ground and doing some wrestling. They look like they feel comfortable. And
yeah, Browder was looking for a Kimura, still is. Got to hold the arm for a Kimura, which is an arm lock submission. Shank's doing a pretty good job of defending it, but you get caught up in the legs there, and he's back out, but he's inside the guard. He wants to, pass the guard would probably be his best bet. Pass it, take side control.
Taking some nasty hits to the head there on the ground.
Yeah, good elbows by Browder from the bottom. Elbows can cut. A lot of guys like to use them to get a cut. Striking, whether it's hands or elbows, a lot of times is used to distract the guy. You don't want to just let a guy lay there and work on stuff. You got to give him something to think about, and that's where the strikes come in play. Even if they don't look like they're doing much damage, they have a purpose.
Well, like we talked about earlier, even the smallest hits will wear a fighter down.
Absolutely.
You cannot let somebody sit there and pound on you.
Absolutely. You got to move, and like I said, and the referees as well will stand guys up quick if there's no action on the ground. So, I mean, if you're a ground fighter and you get somebody down, you want to stay busy. There's Shank with a nice guard pass. He's in half guard now. He's probably looking to pass to a full mount. Can't really see with them pushed into the cage that way, but he's probably going to work his head up the cage and land some strikes. And I was just going to say Browder's would be wanting to be turned off the cage, but Ryan did a nice job of turning him back into the cage.
With regards to the officials standing them up, do the officials tend to expect more out of professional fighters than they do the amateur fighters? Yeah,
well, I mean, they'll let more go. Shank's taken his back. He's got both hooks in. He's got taken Browder's back, and this is one of those situations where Browder stands up. He's probably going to be in big trouble for that rear naked. But if he continues to stand there like in those points and hold Shank's weight, you're going to muscle fatigue yourself, wear yourself out. But
he's able to pull out of that one without standing up.
Right. These guys are both very evenly matched wrestling-wise. I wasn't sure who'd have the stronger wrestling, but they both very strong wrestlers. They both had very good hips. You could tell from some of the exchanges. But there he's working for the rear naked choke.
A lot of holding exchanges taking place here from one person to the next.
Right. And right there, Shank's got a nice tight rear naked. He doesn't have it finished the way you grab your bicep and finish it, but sometimes you just get that what they like to call the Gable grip. It's strong enough to hold a choke. You don't need to finish it off. But Browder, obviously, like I said, he's a very, very good athlete, very good fighter, and he withstood it. And
both of these guys really able to pull loose from those holds, actually pulling those arms out, which
that's just a testament to their skill level. I mean, you're talking about pros, so pros with like Shank's 2-1, so that means he's fought amateur. He has amateur fights, so you're not looking at brand new guys. That these guys know. These guys have been in the gym for a while. They know what they're doing. And when you're training with the two camps that they train with, Shank with Spencer Fisher, a UFC legend, and Browder with Ben Rothwell, who's an IFL and a UFC fighter. I mean, neither one of these guys is coming from a camp where there's not tough guys in the gym. They're training partners, and not only are they coaches, but they're training partners are a bunch of studs. So they see positions like this and situations like this daily in training.
And training with some of those guys, you don't get a lot of leeway in training. I mean, they're taking you to the mat.
You know, the thing about these gyms, these top gyms with the top coaches like, you know, Spencer Fisher, oh, Shank's going for a nice armbar right to the end, but not enough. What I was saying about, you know, you can train with great guys, you know. You can train with the #1 fighter in the world or #1 coach in the world, but it's really the training partners and the other fighters in the gym that make those guys great. You know, you've got to have those kind of guys that test you daily in the gym. A coach can only teach you so much. But you need the training partners to take those tools daily and put them into practice.
It seems like these two guys have had a lot of that training.
Opponent is you train for a certain guy. Shank Browder was a last-minute replacement. Just took this fight last week when Ryan Shank's original opponent, Brian Moronic from Colorado, suffered an injury in training. So, you know, Shank might have been preparing for somebody else, and I guarantee you with a coach like Spencer Fisher, he was training for Moronic. So it makes it tough, you know. And now he's got to change it up. I've been preparing for this guy. Now I got this guy, which I know nothing about. And, you know, like I said, Shank's obviously his strength is wrestling. He goes right for that single leg and does a very good job, and he finishes it. But now when he gets on the ground, they're evenly matched. I mean, they both have good hips. They both can, you know, escape easily. They both have about the same level of jiu-jitsu. Shank was putting the submissions on, but Browder was fighting him off. So, I mean, they're very, very evenly matched up.
It's really come down so far to a story of getting out of some of those holds on the ground.
Right, right. I mean, like I said, that's where I was saying earlier about judging. You know, somebody standing there in a rear naked choke holding this guy, you know, the whole time. Are you scoring him great because he had the guy in a partial rear naked choke or an attempted rear naked choke? But you have to score the guy who defended it the whole time evenly in my eyes. So, you know, I think it's really tough, you know. And then he reverses it, and he's back in on the single leg is Shank. You know, like I said, these guys are evenly matched. I'm glad I'm not a judge on this fight because I really don't have a clear-cut guy. But with my history and experience, I would say they're giving those takedowns as much strength and power point as you would a knockdown with a punch. And, you know, I don't disagree, but I disagree with in terms of using that such a high point system to say, hey, he took the guy down, you know, he should win the fight. Because what about the guy that when he gets to the ground, what's he doing? He isn't doing a lot, you know. He'll try to pass, but he isn't posturing up to land damage. He's just kind of laying there.
Well, and how many of these fighters know about the takedowns being scored so high?
Well,
how many of them understand that? I mean, obviously they all want to win the fight and they all want to, you know, show their prowess.
Well, like I said, all fighters at the pro level know a takedown, even at the amateur level, know a takedown is huge, score's huge. Because just like a knockdown standing up, everybody's like, you knock somebody down, you know, that could be a 10-8 right there. And the ref stands them up quick. I like that because if they're not really doing anything, you know, that's what Ryan needs when he gets him down to really try to put the exclamation point on it, you know.
Both corners there, after they stood up, were telling their fighters to strike first. Understanding that this may very well come down to taking advantage of a simple opening.
Right, that was a very nice exchange there. Browder threw a very nice combination, but right away, Shank went to his wrestling, popped in for the single leg and took him down. There's a nice sweep, really nice sweep by Browder, but once again, Shank's got good hips too, so he just takes right out. You know, people that watch this might think, oh, this is boring, they're just on the ground, but it's actually pretty amazing skill being shown with their wrestling ability.
Well, and being able to move up from where he was down on his legs, being able to move up to the midsection there, that takes not only a lot of power, but really a lot of agility in being able to, you know, wiggle your way while somebody's holding you.
Well, you definitely have to know what you're doing. You know, it's all in the hips. You know, whether you're standing up, wrestling, you know, jiu-jitsu, it's the hips are everything in fighting, and just both these fighters have great hips. You know, you're not going to just, if you're inside a guy's guard, you don't just move a leg out for luck, you know, or, you know, because the guy was horrible. You have to soften him up with some punches, get him thinking about those punches, then you can get a leg out. And that's what he was doing there earlier, was hit him in the body a little bit. The guy starts thinking about that, he moves his leg out. But Shank has got he's probably controlling the fight in the judge's eyes because he's getting the takedowns and he's on top, but he's not doing anything with the takedown. You got to do something with the takedown. In my eyes, like I said,
Browder's taken a few pretty nasty hits while he's on the ground, but he continues to spin out of these holds.
Yeah, like I said, Browder's obviously very skilled. The big shot knocks out Browder's mouthpiece, and it gets hung in the cage fence. But this is one of those things where, you know, hey, wrestling takedowns are part of the game. If you don't like it, then stop the takedown. You know, people say, oh, this wrestler lays and prays. Well, stop it. It's part of the game. I know for some people it could be boring, but it's part of the game. So the other guy needs to stop the takedown or stop this guy from laying and praying. And right now, you know, Ryan's scoring enough to win.
MMA fighting much more than hits and takedowns. You know, we said this before. It is much of a chess match, and these two here, they've been on a chessboard a few times.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, they're very evenly matched. Shank's just getting that good. He's got, you know, obviously solid wrestling base. He gets in on that single leg pretty easy. When Browder comes in to commit to the heavy exchanges, trying to land the big knockout bomb, you also plant that lead leg. You've got all your weight, or 70% of your weight, on that lead leg. And a good wrestler like Shank, all he has to do is change levels, and he's in on your leg. And he's got that leg, and he's getting the takedown, and it's working.
You know, a lot of ground action seems to have worn both of these fighters out. Both of them on the ground, taking each other down, oftentimes spinning out of those holds. Those takedowns and pulling out of those takedowns really affecting their stamina levels right now.
Right. I mean, obviously these guys are pro fighters. They're both from phenomenal camps, and they're both in phenomenal condition. There's a nice uppercut by Browder, which that's what he needs to do. He needs to come with uppercuts, because every time you throw something straight, you allow the wrestler to get in on you easy.
Browder trying to stay on his feet this time. Doesn't look like he wants to go down to the ground.
Right. And I'm sure Browder's frustrated, you know. Nobody likes to be taken down and laid on. But like I said, you know, you got to stop it. You got to stop the takedowns. That's part of it, like it or not, you know. But I would like to see Shank do something with it when he gets him down. And, you know, to Shank's credit, Browder's not, you know, you can't really judge Browder for not getting a submission. When you got a wrestler on you, wrestlers are a lot stronger and feel very strong than you would probably think, or probably how they look, just with their grip. And it's easy to say, well, why isn't he just getting up, or why isn't he putting a submission? Well, you got a wrestler on you that's very strong. It's not that easy.
Shank's got his feet hooked around.
Yeah, he's got him in
a
a figure four. He's got a figure four body lock on him, and he's going for that rear naked choke. And the thing about the figure four is it takes the wind out of you, but all Browder has to do is roll to wherever that foot is, and he did. That's the defense for when somebody figure fours your body. Just roll to that foot, roll to that ankle.
Browder really skilled at the rollouts here.
Well,
We've seen it a number of times tonight.
He's got good hips. He's got good hips. There's no doubt. Like I said, you know, neither one of these guys is a slouch. You know, they're in the gym training every day. They got top camps, and obviously they know their stuff. You know, Shank is trying to work a rear naked choke, but Browder's defending well. Like I said, if you don't understand the jiu-jitsu game, you don't really understand what's going on here. Shank goes for the rear naked, grabs the other arm just to kind of control him, but he's trying to work the rear naked choke, but Browder's defending it well.
Definitely a battle of wills here tonight.
Well, you know, and when Shank moves on, you know, like I said, it's tough to say, well, why isn't he striking? Why isn't he doing this? Well, he trained for another guy, you know, so he expected somebody different. And wrestlers, they wrestle since they're little kids. And so they get into these situations, and you can't blame them for doing what they know. It becomes innate. Wrestling becomes innate. It's what they do. You can't take that out of somebody, and it's mixed martial arts, and wrestling is part of it. So.
And no matter how much you train, it often comes down to reaction and, you know, just being able to deal with your opponent.
Exactly. And Browder does a good job. Now, Browder wants to land the knockout because he knows that's what he needs to win, but he's just, that's an illegal kick. He had knees down, but Shank's tough. He'll just say, yeah, I'm good. Give me a minute, and he'll be right back up. I think Browder thought he was standing up on his feet when actually he had his knees down. That's 2 points down. You can't kick a downed opponent. I think Browder was thinking he was just getting ready to step up, stand up when he threw that kick. It was really, you know, Browder didn't do it on purpose. A lot of these things, you can watch it, a replay, you can watch it in slow motion, and you can think one thing, but it happens in the moment, you know, and it's tough when you're a fighter to just turn that off.
Shank really working to regain composure here after that illegal kick.
Well, you know, he gets his time, so why not take it and, you know, get some breath back. I mean, it was a kick, but it wasn't by any means a devastating kick. But, you know, hey, this guy's going to take his time and get his breath back if he can.
Doctor's checking him out in the ring right now,
Right.
as we're in a timeout. This would be a good a time as any, Kelly, to talk about another upcoming fight this March.
Yeah.
MCF 9.
Yeah, March 15th, we'll have our St. Patty's showdown again. Last time we had 3,000 people come out, which is huge, but we're looking forward to it. The referee restarts the action. We'll see if Browder goes for blood. Browder landed a nice punch there.
He did. He's landed 2 nice rights.
And that's really gonna have to see if Browder thinks he had him hurt. You'll see him go all out, go for blood. Browder don't want anything on the ground. He wants to knock. He knows he needs a knockout to win, so he's gonna go for the knockout. You got Shank continuing to shoot in, change levels, go for the takedown. I mean, Browder really, in order to win, Browder needs the knockout. I mean, he's lost first 2 rounds for sure. I think obviously Shank's probably a kind of a fighter in training, solid wrestler, probably learning to stand up, working on his stand up with Spencer Fisher, but goes to his wrestling to win. I mean, you got to win. And that's the problem with fighting sports. You know, you start losing and nobody's asking to come fight for their event. So sometimes it forces guys to do their wrestling and, you know, do whatever it takes to win, even if it's lay and pray. Shank has by no means been laying and praying in this fight, but you will hear people boo or not like it because they really don't understand.
Yeah, it's not exactly a crowd favorite. Meanwhile, these 2 warriors are, you know, putting everything they've got into it. Either trying to maintain the hold or turn out of the hold.
It's still part of the game. It's mixed martial arts. You know, it's wrestling, kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, if you can do all those, you also have to be able to stop all those. You can't just be one-dimensional in this sport and be any good. And this, I mean, we're going to be looking at a decision, obviously probably unanimous decision for Shank. The takedowns.
2 pro warriors. After the action, we go to the judges' scorecard. A unanimous decision, all scoring 30-27 for your winner, Ryan Shank. Hey Ryan, congratulations on your fight, man. Going into this fight, what were you expecting?
I knew he was real tough. He trained with Rothwell, really good stand-up, strong. You know, could make it a brawl, and I just had to put it in my field.
You kept taking him down, going to what you know, a little bit of wrestling action. Was that the game plan going into this?
Yeah, he took this on short notice. I had a different opponent. He got hurt, so I had to just go back to what I know best, and just grind on him and try to break his will, and I think I did that.
After taking that leg to the head, it dazed you a little bit. Took you a little while to recover. How was it coming back after that hit?
I really knew I just had to get a hold to his legs and try to get my bearings about me. I wasn't gonna stop with 2 minutes left.
Well, congratulations on your win. Anybody you want to thank out there?
Yeah, first I want to thank Kelly Wiseman and Russ Jones for getting me on this card. They didn't have to. Everybody back home in West Virginia, all the people back in Bettendorf, Iowa, Spencer, Bob, just too many people to really thank individually.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Ryan Shank.